So if you are starting a business or you already have a business, is it necessary to have a website for your business? The answer, of course, is it depends. There are some businesses that are very successful that don't have websites, and then other businesses that completely depend on having a website to be successful. So for example, I have a friend who has his own business where he does house framing. So he builds the frames for houses for construction companies, for home builders. He has no online presence. He doesn't have a website, Google business profile, anything like that, but yet he's still very successful. And that's because he doesn't really need, a public image. He doesn't really need to be found. He just goes directly to the home builders and has contracts with them to frame the houses for them. So he doesn't need an online presence. He's not selling anything online. He builds credibility just through the industry, through those relationships, not through his online presence. So in his case, he doesn't need a website, doesn't really benefit him much. It's fine without. Whereas for myself, on the other hand, it is more important to have a website because I want to be found by the public. I want to provide, business consulting and advising services to, especially people in my region that are starting businesses or have small businesses already. So it's more important for me to have an online presence and to be able to be found and, have a credible online image, and so that people can kind of learn about what it is that I do. And now maybe even more importantly, if you're selling something online, if you're selling a product, then you definitely need a website, or at least need to be on different websites that are like marketplaces, maybe like Amazon. So for sure, if you're doing online sales, then you do need a business website. As I said, there are some businesses where they completely depend on it. That's where they're getting all their leads, all their clients, maybe making all their sales, executing their transactions through their website. So it can vary a lot. But the thing about websites is there aren't really much for downsides for having one. Like even if you don't really need one, still can be nice to have one. So when people do look you up, something comes up and it just shows that you're legit and that they did find the right business type thing. It really can give you more credibility, even if someone's already kind of sold on using your services or buying your products. And the nice thing about business websites these days is they're a lot easier to make. Like you don't need to be super tech savvy. You don't need to know how to do coding to build a website. There are plenty of platforms where you can build a website yourself without using any coding, and they're fairly simple to use. Some might have more features than others, but anyone who's reasonably tech savvy can build a website or pay someone to build one for them, and it doesn't have to be that expensive. Like Google has free website building and hosting, so you can build something pretty simple there. You could go purchase a domain name for a few years, so just take some time. Doesn't really take much money to have a business website. But of course, if you want something more professional and you're going to hire someone, then typically that's going to be in the thousands of dollars. Whereas if you just want to build one yourself using a platform like GoDaddy or Wix or Squarespace or WordPress or something like that, maybe you're just paying a couple $100 per year to have that hosting and building and domain name secured. So again, sometimes necessary, sometimes not, most times useful. Doesn't need to be complicated, doesn't necessarily need to be expensive. Some cases it might be, but yeah, websites are a lot more easy to set up and maintain these days. So hopefully this video was useful. If so, please click like and feel free to check out my YouTube channel here, where I currently have 300 videos that cover business management and business startup topics.